Welcome back everyone to Piney Plays Minecraft Bretopia. I'm back here in Bretopolis and I was looking at this layout for this temple and I decided it's trash. It's awful. I can think of several adjectives for it, but none of them are nice for it. I just don't like the way it looks. Therefore, I'm going to take this down, and when I'm back, I'm going to go with my new design for it. I have taken down everything except for this one wall here, the one that is facing the water, and that's because this is going to become the basis for our new foundation. Because I'm going to go from the hexagon I had originally, and I'm going to go to a pentagon. Because I was thinking that the whole bit about, yeah, okay, I'll try this to use a hexagon in order to have my 5 elements, but with 6 sections and with one being an entrance and all that stuff. Let's face it, if you want to have 5 elements, you really have to do it as a pentagon. It just doesn't feel right otherwise, and I should never have thought of doing it otherwise. All right, 1, 2, 1, 1. All right, this is what I'll be looking for. And then it'll just repeat all the way around there. The idea then is to have a nice, reasonably regular pentagon. So when I finish that, I'll be back. And there you have it. There is our pentagon. And we will have 5 sections for it, one for each of the elements. Now what these 5 sections are going to do is they are going to have a item there that is associated with the element in question, and at the same time they will also have a sort of an entrance associated with it. So therefore on the water side we will have a fishing area, and we will have a little port where people come out in and out on fishing. Now down here is going to be metal, and in metal we are going to have a golem in there. So that will be our exhibition thing for metal, and that'll lead into a mine that will be here. Now the Bretopia mine isn't going to be a major mine, but it will at least be enough in order to serve as the demonstration for metal. Now down here we'll have earth. We'll have a farm here. And because of the nature of the farm, it might have an entrance to it. I don't know if it's going to have a true entrance or not, or if it'll just have several farmers tending to the farms and they'll use that as their entrance. Now down here we will have fire, and that will of course include our nether portal, and it will also include our furnace. So our furnace is our item, and the nether portal is our way in and out. And finally down here, up in this section, we would have wood. It will have our botanical garden, so I will replant several of those trees that I had chopped down in order to make room here. And probably add a few that aren't naturally in this area, since it is a botanical garden, and botanical gardens don't always include just native species in there. So I'll probably try to get one of every single type of wood that I can get, so that it'll be a botanical garden. And this will be our main entrance into it. So you enter into the temple through a nice botanical garden. So that's what we have in store there. Now we will also have a central, see, I'll have to try to figure out where the center of this pentagon is. We'll call it here for now. I'll do some calculations later in order to get the exact center, so that we will have it right. But the idea there is to have this in the center, a little bit of an altar here, and then radiating out from it will be a neutral color, and then the stones for each of the areas will suit the location we're going to. I might temporarily use wool, but then replace it with something more suitable later on, since wool does not make the best floor color. But that's what I'm planning on doing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on the fire area a little bit, take care of the center, and be back. I am back, and for now I'm using sandstone as the stand-in here for the fire. More likely I'll be using granite in the end, but I don't have enough granite right here. I'll have to go back to the enchanter's house or Cora in order to get some. The idea here is that I've got my auto smelter here, and this then will be my end portal. So that's what we'll have in the fire section, and I'm thinking of granite since that'll have a reddish hue to it. Now I was considering hardened clay, but when I think of clay, I think of earth, so therefore I figured that would be a good thing to lead into the earth area. And I think water's a given. I might switch to a flooring matter that suggests water in the end, but it's probably going to be a long time before I conquer an ocean monument and am able to... Right? That looks like it's a little... Oh, no, okay. I thought that was off. Alright. Oh, never mind then. And I might switch to something from an ocean monument if I ever get around to going through one of those. Now that does leave this for... Oh, of course, wood. Well, that one's going to be straight and simple. Oak. Of course, oak. I mean, what else would you use? Well, I know you could use a different type of tree, but oak I think would be fine for this. And for metal, while I am tempted to use iron blocks, it'll be a long time before I could afford to use iron blocks here, so I have to come up with a good stand-in here for the metal side. So this would be this. Oh, and I need a much better material. I don't think cobble fits here at all. I might use smooth stone to test how that works, but I want to make sure I have something silk touch before I do anything trial and error with smooth stone. And if I find out something good, I've also been considering diorite. I wonder how that'll look. Alright, let's see. We'll throw diorite here and just throw this into the rays and see how this looks, because I don't... And see if this looks anything near decent. I'd rather to have something a little more permanent. If I could get bone block, that I think would be just what I needed, would be bone block. Unfortunately, that's going to be a while before I can get that. I've got plenty of that stuff in the multiplayer world because we had the skeleton farm at near the spawn point, and that helped to get bone blocks very early. So yes, I think I will use diorite for this, not for the outer wall, just for the rays. And I have to think about, well, yeah, but that's not a ray there. That's an outer wall. Ha! Yes, you can see I'm already breaking my own little rule there. Right, let me work on that and show you the result. I am back. What I did on this side is I put in the diorite, and I thought, how about stone brick instead of diorite? That's a nice neutral color, and that might be perfect for the rays. I might leave the diorite for the center area, but I'm going to think about using stone brick here, and I don't have to worry about the trial and error thing that was bugging me before, since stone brick doesn't turn into cobble when you mine it. Now for the metal area, I was thinking, how about metal ores? Because I should be able to get plenty of metal ores without any trouble. It's the metal blocks that would be difficult, and maybe the temple won't be so ostentatious as to use pure metal blocks. So therefore, my plan is to use metal ores there. For this earth tone here, probably use granite here, though I'm using sandstone as a stand-in. Wood here, and water or prismarine blocks if I ever get the ladder on there. And that will make the 5 sides. And then they'll feed into, as I said, the fishing area here. We've got our little fire area here, and that's going to be a relatively small area since people will be wanting to get over here into the botanical garden. Now you may be wondering why this particular order. For example, why not just put the fire section here and the farm area here? Oh, that's right, that's not the botanical garden. That's where the farms are going to go. Botanical garden's going to go here. All right, that's good. And the reason I chose the order I did is this has to be fire, and I decided that they will go in the same as the traditional order for Chinese elements. Now, this is the natural place for the mine, since we've got a mountainside here, easy to put a mine into. So that means water's here and metal here, and that dictates the order for resin, so that you get metal produces water. Can't remember how, I don't know why that is the case, but then water produces wood. Wood produces fire. That one I guess should be no trouble seeing. And then fire produces, fire produces earth. And then earth produces metal. And then they also have the control factor where you go across on the other side, in that water controls fire on the diagonal, and then fire controls metal. Metal controls trees because you chop it down with an axe, and then wood controls earth, and then earth controls water. The standard pentagon shape of it, and I think it looks a lot better when you use the pentagon shape rather than the hexagon shape that I was attempting to force into it before so I could have an entrance. But now that I decide to use one that places as the entrance, it'll be much better. Alright, that is, well, when I get walls and stuff like that, I hope it looks a lot better. And I hope to get some bone blocks to also help it in the end. I may have to do some jiggling with that fire section there, but that sort of gives me some sort of an idea to it, because now it looks a lot less like a pentagon at the moment because of the way that sticks out there. I'll have to think on that, but I am going to keep the pentagon theme. I think it's much better than what I had before. And I may someday have perhaps a town or villager like that is completely dedicated to a much larger temple. This is a busy city with too much room, or too many things packed into a smaller space type area, since this is all the land that they're allocated here, and I can't get it to be any larger than this. Because then we're going to have all the activities of the city down on this end, down over there. The city is probably going to extend on the other side of the water. And then up this way. So we do have this farming community here, but it's probably going to have a bit more of the city down this end, and there will be more extensive farmland down in that area where the serious feeding gets done. This is probably just relatively small amounts of food would be grown here, but it'll be serving the purposes of the temple at the very least. And I suspect that because it's a community thing, the farmland here raises food that's given to the poor or something like that, and that's the way that they handle that situation. But I think that concludes today's episode. So next time, which to do? I will choose an element to work on next time. Probably the mines, and hopefully I don't go in there and promptly run into a bunch of cave spider spawners, because I still have those that are on my back. I got 2 of them down here, and in my multiplayer world I got 7. I mean, just a couple of months ago I thought cave spider spawners were rare. Well, I've been disabused of that by a long shot. Well, that's it for today. So I'll see you again next time for another episode of Piney Plays Minecraft Bretopia.